going on, everybody? So, I got the first, or the second, actually, I should say, two movie reviews, and this is for Silent Night. This was a good movie. It was a good movie, and just a heads up, there's no scripted lines. Like, at least from the main characters that you're introduced to, there's no lines. No lines are spoken. So when they say Silent Night, this movie is completely silent. And not, well, completely silent. But it's silent in terms of words from the main characters. You do hear, like, people over the radio, like the police radio or the news or whatever. But you do not hear anyone of the main characters. Not dude right here on the poster, not his wife, his son, Kid Cudi's character. Nobody speaks a word in this movie. But yet, it's something about it that's so perfect. But let me break it down for you. So we're introduced to Brian here and his family. His wife, Saya? I think that's her name. I want to believe that's her name. Yeah, Saya. Saya, Brian Goodlock and Saya Goodlock. That's their names. And then Kid Cudi's character is Detective Dennis. But we're introduced to Brian trying to stop a gang. But we already know from the trailer why he's trying to stop them. And that's because due to a violent gang war, it wasn't even like they was involved. It was a nice wholesome Christmas Eve, them playing with their son, and a violent gang war just happened to erupt on their street. And I think this takes place in Los Angeles, or a place within Los Angeles. And a violent gang war erupts on the street. A stray bullet accidentally hits the guy's son, and thus you got your plot of your movie now. From there, he goes on a rampage that leads to his vocal cords getting violently, like it is a violent way his vocal cords get messed up, and even before his vocal cords get messed up, like I said, there's no words never were spoken in this movie at all. Before, not in the flashbacks, not in anything. There's flashbacks in this movie, and nowhere in this movie lines are spoken from the main characters, none. But yeah, in his first pursuit of trying to stop these people, his vocal cords gets damaged. And then, obviously they lose their son. We're introduced to Kid Cudi's Detective Daniel. And thus, this man decides, after some time of grief, to go on this crusade to end all gang life in the city. And it's one of those movies where it's unique. It's like A Quiet Place. Whereas A Quiet Place did have moments where the people talk, but this movie is like that, but to 100. Like, there's no, at least for the main character, there's no talking, no words, no nothing. But they do everything with their eyes and the facial expressions and just the nods and all that type of stuff. They do all that. They do. It's weird how a movie with no lines spoken, yet you could follow just with what's going around and the expressions and the emotions, you still follow like they talking to you, even though you realize they have not spoken not one line in this whole movie. And that's a good thing about it. It immerses you more. It immerses you more into the story, into these people's life, into the feeling. Because what would you do if a random gang war just erupted on your street and took your child? It would be hard not to do what he did in this movie, because you'd be like, I have to make this right. I got to, because they can't, I don't feel like the police is going to help me in this matter, but and that's how he felt. Um, the action was good. I liked the action. I liked the story. I like even though I'm about to say I like the pacing. There's only one thing I didn't like about this movie. I like the pacing somewhat, but I like the acting from everybody, especially a movie where you know words are spoken. It still made me feel for these characters. Um, I was gonna say it's two things, but it's only one thing because this is a nitpick. Like with Kid Cudi's Detective Daniels, I felt like we really didn't get enough time to really understand. Like he was rarely in. I want to say rarely, but he didn't have as much scenes as the main character. So it's like in a movie where there's no dialogue, it's kind of hard to get invested. Like I don't know what his type of personality was as a character. Like is a character you could tell. Obviously, at some point you figure out that he's a good cop, but I wish I would have knew that sooner. But that's a nitpick. But my real only true negative with this movie was even though I said I liked the pacing somewhat. And the reason why I said somewhat is because the movie felt, even though I know it's only a movie, the movie was only like an hour and 30 plus minutes, but still kind of felt like even for that, it felt like it was shorter. It felt like just when I was getting into the action, just when I got into it, that was the end of the movie. So it was like, Jesus Christ. But yeah, that's the only gripe I have with this movie was that it really felt like you really felt the shortness of this movie. Um, Otherwise, I like the action pieces. I love the violence, the shooting. It was a great action movie. Great, unique take on a movie, on an action movie. I think they said the director or the maker. I think it was either director or producer. One of them was the dude who made the movie Paycheck or Payback, whatever it was, back in 2003. But this was a good movie. I ain't gonna lie. This was a good, above average movie. Um, it's just about a father getting revenge for the death of his son. Nothing more else I can say about it. Like, I'm gonna give this movie I'm gonna give it a 7 out of 10. Big ups because it was above average. It wasn't a 6, but it was definitely a 7. But it wasn't a 8. It wasn't like an 8, 9, or 10. But it was definitely a 7 worthy. And if you haven't seen it, I suggest you go check it out. It's worth a good time. It's really worth. It's a good time and it's worth watching. But you let me know in the comments down below if you have saw it without spoiling the movie, what you thought of Silent Night, and if you enjoyed my review of it. Know to do hit this button right there for all of my movie reviews. I'm about to say season 3. All my movie reviews. And if you enjoy my videos so much and want to support the channel, like the prompts I always tell you in the video, like, subscribe, and share, and do all those great things for me because it helps the channel grow as it has been. I have gotten some new followers. So my new subscribers, thank you for subscribing to the channel. And yeah. Continue to watch it for more because I got more coming your way in the form of reactions. Peace.